Hey, what's up, Soul Fam? Um, I just want to do a quick frequency transmission on the waxing Crescent Scorpio moon. Like, it ain't gonna be that long because we ain't got that, we ain't got that many alignments going on. But yeah, my PayPal information is in the description. Donations will be very much appreciated, very much appreciated, but not necessary. All right. Um, Now, anytime we got a crescent moon, it's the sun sextile moon, and it's the beginning of Virgos. It's yeah, by the time it hit like in 6 hours, it be sun be on the cusp of Virgo, the Leo Virgo cusp. Um, Now, and that being said, like it's in the mode of transition between like the awareness on maintaining our spiritual security and the awareness of 3D shifts, because the cusp of transition is the last 27 degrees of any last 27 degrees of any space of experience. Yes, I mean 27 degrees, last 3 degrees and 3 degrees of the next space. Right. Um see here. But yeah, we got that. We got that on that cusp. So, you know, so instead of so it's still out bold, loud out awareness, but it's shifting in the mode of being like more muted, more practical, like more more tangible, instead of focusing on things of spirit and fire, expression, inspiration. You know, the sun gonna force us to focus on mundane things. Things that has to do with the with this realm, like like working, um, working, money, you know, getting health, getting ourselves more organized, um, more practical, um, you know, you know, and also when energy moves in the earth, then that 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 energy basically pulling us to focus on our mundane. I won't say security because that's more Capricorn, but you, I'll get what I'm saying. Like like focusing more on the and I don't even want to say like I don't want to say like realistic, because as we all know that this realm is just. But as we are in this realm and stuff like that, it's more us focusing on you know the practical matters. Um, let's see here. Okay, and with the moon going to Scorpio. I mean, because right now she's at the last degrees of a Libra. She last degree, Libra, last decan the Libra, and when she forms that alignment of manifestation with Helios, you know, she first off should be via combustor, because like I said moon is via combustor now. And if you're not familiar with what via combustor moon is, see, anytime an energy goes via combustor, but it's more particularly more applicable to vibrations to a moon. But it's when energy at the last 15 degrees of Libra and first 15 degrees of Scorpio. And that's the fall. That's fall of the sun and the moon, fall of the awareness and the vibrations. Now, what I personally experienced it as from I personally experienced it as, like, particularly doing horary astrology. And horary astrology is like, it's it's divination. Looking at the timing, looking at timing events, and even like lost object horror, like being able to find lost or stolen objects using astrology, stuff like that. That's one thing I specialize in, is being able to do that, because I can't tell y'all how much shit I done found using horror astrology. I mean, not to get off sidetracked out the point of this transmission, but okay, the big illumination moment for me about just how much the Asteris rule over this realm is when I had lost my glasses for a week. For a week, I was not able to find them motherfuckers until I really got tapped into horary astrology, lost object horary. But yeah, like I was saying, you know, like sun, sextile moon, like moon, she's on cusp of transition. She will be on cusp of transition between Libra and Scorpio. So that's like, it's going from vibing with establishing our frequency security to vibing with maintaining our vibrational security. So it's like it's like when relationships and unions get deep, and it start getting like real, like deep point. And when I say relationships, I'm not necessarily talking about romantic partnerships, unions. It's first thing on mine, stuff like that. I'm talking about like relationships of any kind, stuff like that. You know. So, okay, so with that being said, like, that being said, like, we, like, at that point of manifestation, where, where the vibes that we're in to relate deeper at that point, but via combustion moon be all fucked up. I mean, at every time I did a horary map where the moon was via combustion, shit was fucked up somehow. Shit fucked up somehow. I had to turn the map, and when I say turn the map, I mean, instead of look from the first house, stuff like that, I had to look from the seventh house, the fall, because I said fall of the sun and the moon. Um, but yeah, the vibrations to relate deeply will be driving the manifestation of the actions to to maintain our spirit through the practical and tangible things, stuff like that, you know. You know, still like deeply, and then the opportunities, opportunities to gain some work or gain some work, employment. You know, speaking in that sense. You know, like business that too, but that's more Capricorn mode. Like Virgo more about the work, the work. You know, health. You know, schedules, um, schedules. You know, lot more focus on cleaning. You know, because Virgo also energy of hygiene. You know, got more focus on cleaning and stuff like that. You know. Okay, then we got Venus opposite Jupiter. Um, of course, Jupiter is slowed down in Capricorn right now. Um, so that's and when Jupiter slows down, Papa Zeus act like Papa Kronos, act like Saturn. So instead of that expansion, it's more of a contraction. Um, so I'll say like, you know, that's the whole mode of placing the crux of establishing 3D security over any other receptivity. So instead expanding how you establish your 3D security, it's like placing a crux on, like having a seat for it, and of course with Venus being the Cancer, you know, Venus at this state would be like establishing our vibrational security, like the awareness of how to establish our vibration security over the crux of 3D. So it's about like things that we things that we vibe with, things that we enjoy, things that we love, you know, what we appreciate, what we value. At this point, our experience as a collective, we're forced we're forced to we're forced to either figure out how balance it out with what's going on practically in our experience, the mundane parts of our experience. Um, what makes sense in our experience with or 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 we fucking choose to cut it off, you know, because but the wisest thing to do would be the balance. That's the wisest thing to do, find that point of balance, because from my experience, stuff like that, because I know a lot of other astrologers will tell you like, well, since that going on, like on this certain current line, since that going on, stuff like that, if it don't make sense, you might want to cut it, And when I say sense, it's more like related to like practical matters. But but since from my experience, like I say, like thir- like 13 solar cycles of being illumined to this science, this knowledge, it's more about the alchemy workings of it, you know, the sacred math of it. And opposition, that's a second harmonic. Second harmonic relate to Venus. Venus will be balance and harmony. So key to that is balance. Like, balance 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 what you love, appreciate, and value with how you're being seen tangibly in your experience. Because Saturn be that seat. Like, I know it seems like limitations, blockages, and restrictions, but then you realize that all that, like, you did that energy right. Like, you have somewhere to sit down at, speaking energy wise. Yeah. Um, then we have Neptune square nodes, because got North Node in Gemini, and South Node in Sagittarius. See, with North Node in Gemini, that'd be the collective destiny at this point. Is through shifting frequencies. Is through like creating harmony through communications. It's a very communicative time for us as a collective, and South Node and Sagittarius is where we've been in our awareness shifts. It's like where we've been then with our philosophies, our truths, and our beliefs, our expansions of the higher mind. Because Gemini has deal more with the lower mind. And I said the nodes are in retro. So and Neptune and Pisces, that's receiving from divine in the universe. How we shift our vibrations or the crux of 3D. So to put that in other terms, shit about to get foggy. Shit about to get real foggy. Like I said, Neptune and Pisces. That's man. That really has to do with our spirituality at this point. Our visions, because ever since like Neptune moved into Pisces, we have gotten more spiritual as a collective. that's when everybody start getting more in tune with their spirituality. Shit, I know I did. Yeah, I know I did. Cause speak from experience. Speak from experience, and I really don't want to throw this off on a more personal note. But I say around about late 2011 Gregorian. After my third star seed came down this realm. Um, you know, that's that's when that's when I got more into the spiritual side of things, the magical side of things, because I shoot. I'm like, I ain't gonna front shoot. I started out as an LHP witch, and being to Levian Satanism, and you know, and I say Neptune was about like the first, or Neptune about 1 or 2 degrees Pisces, yeah, back then, but yeah. And Neptune was Neptune was treeing my midheaven too at that point. Midheaven represents like status. How we're seen, how we're known, like you know, how we're known at large in society. You know, um, but um, but yeah, like I said about Neptune square nodes, stuff like that. It's it's at that point where communications get foggy. It's a tussle, because squares they be a tussle, but it's a process of completion, because all about alchemy. So it's taking our spirituality. It's taking how we're receiving from divine, and shifting our vibrations, and forming that foundation to the ascension path of how we communicate and shift our frequencies, but also taking from what we known and past experiences of how we shift our awareness, workings of the higher mind, and forming a foundation with that, so we can move forward. So we move forward into that. You know. But that's gonna be going on for a little while. So shoot, all I say is try not to get lost in the fog. Try not to get lost in the fog, because I know it's gonna be hard. I know it's gonna be hard, because Neptune be a divine. Neptune be that nebulous energy. I know it's gonna be hard, but try not to get lost all up in the fog and stuff like that. Because if you if you stay if you stay if you if you necessarily stay too much in that foundation and tussle and war with with philosophy, and figure out your philosophies from the past, re going through that, and your spirit, spirituality, being compassionate and stuff like that. I'm not saying like necessarily move the fuck all away from that, cause then you be even more lost, stuff like that. But it's that thing of balance. You know? It's that thing of balance, stuff like that. But like I said, if you get stuck on that foundation, then 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 you're not gonna be as logical as needed at these times. At these times for ascension. And what's needed for ascension at these times is communication. So Okay, then we got Mercury, trine Uranus. And Uranus has slowed down. Of course, with Uranus being Taurus, it's more about receiving from both realms, above the crux of 3D and above the awareness of how we maintain our 3D security, how we maintain ourselves practically. But when Uranus slow down, that that function that functions like Saturn too. So there go another esoteric seat right there. There go another seat. And with Taurus, speak on energy, Saturn and Taurus. Speak on energy of Saturn and Taurus. That's the crux of maintain a 3D security over any other receptivity. So it's like be, being seated on what makes you stable and secure, like in the 3D. Building and maintaining that stability. And with Uranus being Taurus, because Uranus is an energy of being energy of independence. Rebellions, changes. Um, how we flip things, stuff like that, and let's say like Uranus and Taurus, we're more we're more forced to build our own shit these days. I'm telling you. Like to not be so dependent on, like, speaking in the mundane sense, stuff like that, to not be so dependent on others financially. Flipping shit to build our own fucking seat to sit on, instead of relying, says sitting back and relying on somebody, on a seat that somebody else has provided. Uranus don't want us to do that. And with Mercury at early degrees of Virgo, we're gonna be, because Mercury is the lower mind and the feminine side, the feminine expression of Hermes. So with Mercury being Virgo, like, we're receiving from multiverse the 3D shifts that guides our awareness and the crux of manifestation. In short, there's a gift, because there's a gift to construct and maintain our own seats through how we think about the practical matters. You know, our mind states, on the work that we do, how we're gaining, you know, how we gain security, our health, hygiene, and even if you got Virgo, in the 12th house, that's also that spiritual work, that spiritual bag, you know. Like, if you don't necessarily, like, you don't necessarily follow the prompts of the universe at this time, particularly with Jupiter and Uranus being retro, like, you gonna be told to have 10 fucking seats. Either be, either build your own fucking seat, or you could have 10 goddamn seats. I'm telling you. But okay, that's the alignments, and I'm gonna go through the houses. Um, Now, if you got Aries in your first space, um, you know this this would be occurring in your eighth. Sun and Moon would be occurring in your eighth and tenth houses. So that opportunity. Your sixth and eighth houses. So with that being said, so with that being said, there go the like that opportunity would be occurring in your damn fly. That opportunity would be occurring in your arena of 3D shifts and your arena of like maintaining your vibration security. So there's, I mean, there's a chance and opportunity to gain work through like what you do in secret. Okay, Venus opposite Jupiter. Okay, so like, you know, and that be occurring in your fourth, it occur in your fourth and tenth. So like, you know, what you appreciate at home, what you love and appreciate at home, stuff like that will be at odds with the solidification of your status. So you have to balance that out. Neptune square nodes. Okay, got Aries ascending. Neptune is in your 12th house. So that right there is that right there. That's a very spiritual experience. Very spiritual time, very spiritual experience. But you have to have to get through that fog to be able to ascend in your surroundings, but also carried the lessons from abroad to get through these times. And Mercury trine Uranus. Okay, Uranus being Taurus, it be occurring in your second house, and of course, the second house has to deal with your resources internally and externally. But since this is in Earth, it has to deal with more external resources like money. So what way the way you think and communicate about your day-to-day routine, work, health, whatever and stuff like that. We'll be gifted. We'll be gifted with those financial changes. So that's a gift for either like a new job, new work, cause 10th house has a career, and also take the mirror houses into effect and stuff like that, cause everything that go on, like, and I know from experience, like, you can't just look at the current space that the energy alignment's occurring. You have to look at the mirror. You have to look at the mirror space too. You have to look at the opposite house too, because that also affects that too. And I don't feel like breaking that down. But yeah. Now Taurus ascendant. You know, these alignments be taking place in your fifth, seventh, sun and moon, fifth and seventh. So like. So it's, and shoot, I might shoot. Let's see here. Like I might come. Shoot, I might come in at a later time and finish off the rest of this transmission, but should be on pass. So but y'all get the drift. All right, peace. All right, peace. God knows it's all chakras lit. Infinity stars and 3 spaceships.